Lieutenant Ryder here of the Robotech Expeditionary Force. We're still looking for reflex point. Sensory equipment's been damaged. Came across a few of those lobsters, giant lobsters, a few miles back. Made short work of them. But I'm all that remains. Luckily, my protoculture cell has an expected life of 3 years if I use this cyclone conservatively, which I plan to do. My main concern is going to be not protoculture supplies, but food supplies and water supplies. I hope that's not oil. Something all over the road. My main concern is oil on the road. I hope that's not what that is. What is that all over the road? It's kind of taking the fun out of the ride. Is. You probably, in all likelihood, can't see it over the camera, but in the middle of the road are a lot of wet black splotches, like a trail of it. Now that could be water from like an RV or something, but it looks suspiciously like oil. And losing traction on a sport bike is not good, because you need all the traction you have, right? On a car, you can lose some traction periodically. On a motorcycle, look at that, eh? On a something there, guys, and they turned off, so maybe it was oil. On a two-wheeled conveyance, you need all the contact with the road you have, right? You can't lose contact at all. So you need both wheels. On a car, you can do one wheel loses traction, well, you still have three other. On a bike, you know, you need your two wheels. One loses traction, and that's enough. You're gone. That's enough, in all likelihood, right? You know what I mean? So I played Robotech, Palladium Robotech, and tried to play it via email one time. And the story was really cool. I ran it as I ran the well, I used the original role-playing game book, right? And I used the there's like an RDF manual or something like that. It had all the Destroids in it. And I used the Zentradi book. So in terms of timeline, I was probably around the time that Chiron was in South America. You know, the Zentradi were, you know, in loose pockets around the Earth. And they needed to be weeded out. You know, the enemies Zentradi, the ones that didn't join up with the Micronians. So I had I think it was a Destroid crew, basically, platoon or whatever they'd be called. And, you know, the guys were all Destroid pilots, I think. And I can't remember what they were called, the Barracudas or something like that. And I was playing it through email. You know, it's very much a blasted Earth, like a post-nuke Earth, right? Is the time I'm thinking of in Robotech. And the guys really enjoyed it, and they loved it. And I ran it Robotech-like a, there's innocence to Robotech. It still had war and it still had people dying and stuff, but and tragedy. But there's an innocence with just the way they talk. It's hard to put my foot on, but finger on. But basically, like, hey, it's hard for me to get into roll on the bike, but one of the ladies was like, "So, hey, are you going to the shopping mall later, fellas?" Oh, come on. That type of stuff. There's an innocence that isn't present in the 2000s in our culture, right? Yeah, there's an innocence there. And anyway, so it was very authentic. The guys felt like they were in the Robotech world. The only issue I had, because I was playing through email, this is before voice chat existed. Our issue was when they came across their first recon battle pod with a bunch of tactical battle pods behind it. That was the issue, because the Palladium system is very active, I like to call it. So it's not static. A static system, I would say, would be like D&D. Hit, miss, hit, miss, miss, hit, miss. You're just going up against an armor class, you're rolling a d20. If you beat the armor class, you hit. In Palladium, if someone hits you, or has a potential hit, they get 5 or higher on a d20, you've got some options. You can roll with the punch, you can parry the blow if it's melee combat, you can dodge. So they have to make an opposing roll. And while this doesn't sound like a big deal, it gets to be a big deal when you get 6 and 7 actions around each. And then you compound that fact by the fact that you're playing through email. So everybody's got to respond, and then there have to be opposing roll responses, and then responses, and I can't remember what I came up with to take care of that, and I did, but by that time I was just thinking, no, I don't think I can continue this. It's too bad. It was quite an interesting campaign. The guys really loved it, and I did as well. So, yeah, I won't be doing that for a while. I'll turn around there. I'm gonna get shotgunned, if you can use shotgun as a verb. So, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it, but I like Robotech, and I ran another one there a little while ago, a one-shot. It was meant to be a more than one shot, but I didn't do it. Didn't continue it, and the reason I didn't continue it is I can't remember why I didn't. I guess I was just started getting pressed for time, is what it was. My work life is very busy. I won't get into what I do for a living, but it's pretty all-consuming. It really is. It's a high stress and very consuming, guys. It's unreal. And so anyway, I need to oil my chain. So yeah, I did this one, what was it called? Flight of the Garfish. So I did that one, using the resource, the Invid invasion. So the guys had Cyclones. I think they were all Cyclone riders, I believe. And they had their Alpha, Veritex, or whatever. One guy had a Beta, I think. And, they were landing. What happened was the Garfish, which is a ship in the Robotech force, got separated from a fleet or whatever. It folded. It was out on its own in an uncharted part of the universe, so they were just kind of going along and putting out their SOSs, and using their Veritex that they had to scout ahead for even habitable planets, you know, in worst case scenario that they couldn't get back to Admiral Hunter's expedition or whatever. And of course, lo and behold, they do come across a planet, but you know, during their investigation, their reconnaissance, it does have Invid. And they took out an Invid Scrim, I think, which is just this really cool Invid. You should Google an image for, or whatever search engine you use. Invid, I-N-V-I-D, Scrim, S-C-R-I-M. And check that guy out, eh? What a cool looking mecha. So anyway, the Invid are really cool. If you don't know much about Robotech, you should watch the cartoon. It was 90 odd episodes, I think, cartoon that Harmony Gold put out. Carl Masick was the guy behind it. You should check that out, man. It's amazing. A great story. And yeah, it was, yeah, he basically bought the rights to use a bunch of animation footage from another company in Japan, and he stitched together 3 unrelated anime into one giant epic called Robotech. And it's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. I thought what he did was like genius, man. Carl Masick's awesome. Thank you, Carl. Mr. Masick, he's since passed away, but thank you for what you've done. And yeah, anyway, so that was a cool game. The guys really like it, and once again, I played it. I like getting into character when I GM. I kind of do a lot of acting, and I become the characters I'm running. As weird as that sounds, you know, I don't just say, oh, there's a guy. Like, I kind of take on their personality, and people really, really love it, and really get off on it. Oh yeah, they get off. And I get a lot of accolade for that. And so they felt like they had relationships on the Garfish. One guy had a romance with an NPC. You know, not to that level, but, you know, just, you know, he was developing a relationship with this woman, and they were all like real Robotech characters from the cartoon, basically, and they really loved it. So that was fun. And then they, yeah, took on some Invid, and it was really good, guys. I have one guy, I can't remember his online name, so I'll use the name of Joe, who just loved it. It keeps on, you know, periodically messaging me, like, can we get the Garfish on the go, man? I think he made up a Facebook page for it as well. But that was a lot of fun. I love Robotech Universe. I would run, you know, and I'm not against the Palladium system, but there are other systems I like more for sci-fi, and I mentioned Cortex Classic, the chain oil. Cortex Classic is my favorite for sci-fi. It's intuitive and wonderful. So I think on the next run Robotech, I'll just do it in Cortex. Just the system's just so easy and fast and logical and intuitive and makes sense, and it's just wonderful through and through, guys. Great system by Margaret Weiss Productions. And yeah, so that's it. So I guess the reason I'm on a Robotech thing is the fall. It's fall here in the land I'm currently in.